Let's write some sales emails to promote your product or an affiliate offer. Timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources, including a link to our sales funnel playbook that includes all of our funnel templates for free. Now, when it comes to sales emails, something that's unique across all the other parts of your sales process is talking about yourself and your own experiences can actually be helpful, because most of the time we need to focus on our customer and their problems and their desired results. But here we're going to use personal stories to connect on an emotional level and actually empathize with their current experiences. There's probably a less complex way or convoluted way to say that, so let's just jump into the formula. Of course, we'll start by creating some curiosity-based subject lines to make sure someone actually opens our email in the first place. Then the first 3 to 5 lines will actually hook our readers in to let them know they're in the right place and that there's a compelling reason to continue to read. And then the core of our email will be a simple 3-step technique for actually completing your story. And don't worry, we'll go through exactly how to come up with stories. Everything you've experienced in your life is on the table. Like, you don't have to make something up here or be super creative. You'll see it's really basic. And then finally, we'll effortlessly transition into a call to action to click the link to check out your product or the affiliate offer. So again, timestamps below to skip around. We'll go through 2 live examples that are working for us right now in our broadcast list. And when you stick around to the end, we'll go through how to put all of this together into an actual email sequence to ensure that your emails actually build on each other and they get stronger with each one. So let's go ahead and kick things off with the first step we have to take, and that is understanding what the heck our customers actually care about. So the good news is this will take 20 or 30 minutes, and then you're off to the races writing all the emails you need for whatever offer you're promoting, whether it's yours or your affiliate. And this is by identifying the reality gap. So the first thing we need to do is look at whatever we're promoting and then make a list of all of the results it delivers for our subscribers, right? So this particular digital product or software or service or physical product, it does something, right? It allows our subscribers to achieve a specific result or enjoy specific benefits. So we just need to make a list of all of those. Then we need to make a list of all of the roadblocks. So what are the problems that this particular offer solves? And then what are the things that our subscribers think get in the way of achieving the results that they ultimately want? So what you're looking at here is a really basic example of what this exercise could look like. Again, timestamps below. You can always pause these graphics if you want to read through each one of them. So once you've gone through this will take you 10 to 15 minutes. Next, we need to connect each one of these results and roadblocks to a specific emotion. So this is going to be how we bridge the gap between our experiences and what we want to sell and our subscribers' experiences and what they currently want to overcome or achieve as a result. And so here's a list of common emotions. Of course, you can go and find really long lists, but we're just going to 80-20 the process here. And then you want to take these common emotions and tie them to the results or roadblocks that they're dealing with. So our list goes from looking something like this to something that looks like this. Now you can see this is really basic. I'm trying to keep things really basic here. You don't have to overthink this. We want to be asking simple questions like, are they frustrated with where they are, looking for relief from pain, trying to accomplish a specific goal? You can see here we have some negative emotions of feeling ashamed, anxious, confused, frustrated. Then the positive ones of wanting to be accomplished, happy, find some relief and passion. These are all very common across almost every niche or industry. And so what we're going to do here is once we've identified these emotions, we're going to use them as a bridge between the offer that we're making and the current experiences our subscriber is having today. And here's the key. Emotions have no context. So what we're going to do is come up with some personal experiences of ourselves where we've felt these different emotions, both positive and negative. It doesn't matter if it's completely unrelated to whatever the product is that you're selling. Because emotions don't have any context, we can use these experiences that people can relate to on an emotional level to naturally position whatever we're offering as a logical solution to whatever their current experiences are, even if our story isn't exactly the same as their current experience. So we don't always have to have one-to-one shared experiences. That might seem a little weird. It took me several cuts to do that, and honestly, that was the best one. So if that doesn't make any sense, just bear with me. The case studies are going to make a whole lot more sense in a moment. So let's go ahead and talk about our subject lines here. So all we're going to do with our subject line is we're going to use the power of one with our email. So we're going to choose one result or roadblock, we're going to choose one emotion, and we're going to choose one story that deals with that particular emotion. And then we're going to create a curiosity-based headline around the result that they're trying to achieve or the roadblock that they're after. We can also use some headlines that point to maybe they're doing something wrong in their situation now. So here are just a couple of examples. This is by no means an exhaustive list. This is just here to help you get started. We want to tease out that there's a new, better, simpler, faster way, method, strategy to achieve the result that they're looking for or overcome a roadblock that they're dealing with than what they're aware of. So that's essentially what we're trying to do here. And of course, using questions in your headlines is a great way to go as well. So here are some examples for a consulting email that we currently use in our broadcast sequence. And of course, these are all just using different versions of the same thing of, hey, maybe your pricing is off. Now, the last two, you do want to be careful with these types where you can actually create a headline that insinuates that you're looking at their specific situation. These do really well, but I definitely recommend using them sparingly because there are some people who are legitimately going to get pissed off. Like they're going to read your email and realize, no, you didn't look at my website. You have no idea what my pricing is, spam or whatever. You get some negative comments back. But for the most part, as long as you use those types of subject lines sparingly, it works out pretty well. So once we have gotten someone to open our email, we need to start thinking about our story. And this is going to be creating a hook. So imagine one of those movies or TV episodes like to do this too, where it starts at what seems like the climax of the story. You have no idea what's going on. You just know there's a bunch of action going on and someone's about to die or they're hanging off a cliff, whatever it might be. There's a lot of tense and then it jumps back 2 or 3 days earlier, right? And it looks super boring. And then the movie or episode actually starts and builds up to the point that you just saw. So that's all we're doing with our emails, except it's a heck of a lot less dramatic and probably not as all exciting. And so essentially what we need to do here is start at that emotional high point or climax in order to hook our readers in. And so here are just 3 random examples of how you could actually go about starting your particular email. And it doesn't necessarily have to make sense. And remember, whatever story you wind up going with for your email, it doesn't have to be directly related to your niche or industry. As long as it's the same emotion, you can always tie it back to the solution that is clicking on the link to check out the paid offer or affiliate offer that you have. And so with this, you're just going to start at the emotional climax of your story, and then we're ready for the rest of our story sequence, and that is using the emotion to build up a setting around where we were. So we started at the high point, now we need to go back a little bit, build up the setting, and then get back to whatever the roadblock is, what happened right before the climax that was talked about at the beginning, and then you'll repeat the climax, just paraphrase it, don't actually put the same line again, and then you'll actually start to present the solution. So since this works a lot better, if we look at an actual email, we'll jump into my screen here and I'll go through one of our broadcast emails, and I've gone ahead and highlighted the different parts. So in red here, we start with the hook, right? So 43 minutes and 28 seconds in, my palms are starting to get sweaty. Up until this point, I've been calm, but I'm coming to the hard part, the part where I never know exactly what to do or how to do it. So at this particular point, people don't really know what the situation is, but I'm kicking things off with anxious and nervous, right? So those are the emotion, that's the emotion here, anxiousness and nervousness. Now, of course, the headline we ultimately went with was, how much do you charge? Your answer is probably wrong, and we're targeting entrepreneurs. So there is a little bit of enough context here where they know this has to do with entrepreneurship. But then once we have established that hook, we go back a little bit and start talking about the setting. So where are we? I'm on a sales call, and the part of the conversation of this particular sales call that I never know what to do. What is it? And then we present the big roadblock. So this is the roadblock or problem that I would have identified on that list in the first exercise, the reality gap. I would have said, people don't know what the heck the answer is to how much do you charge, right? So I go through talking about the pain of being really anxious and then getting the answer wrong. And then we transition into the solution. Out of this frustration, out of this anxiety and just confusion, I went ahead and created a simple system for pricing. And then we'll get to calls to action in a moment. But that is as complex as the story needs to be, right? So we started with the hook, we focused on anxiety, then we set up the setting, we went through the big roadblock, and that's the problem that they face. And then of course we go into the start to present the solution. Now this is an example where the situation is directly tied to the niche. So if we come up here to a different email, here's one where we're talking to the same audience, someone who wants to be a consultant, and our headline that we went with was "The clock is ticking on becoming a consultant." The current open rate for this is 24.49%. And so then we start at the climax, but this time it's completely different, right? So here, I am starting with the feeling of being belittled because I'm talking about being stuck in the principal's office. And so this is an example of, hey, we've all probably gotten in trouble as kids, right? Or we've all probably gotten a speeding ticket or had this sinking feeling like, oh no, did I totally mess this up? Or being yelled at by someone who we didn't think we were deserved to be yelled at, right? And so this is just an example of focus on the emotion and then find a story to match that emotion. In this particular instance, it was, well, being stuck in the principal's office and feeling like you're a little kid in trouble, right? And so then after the hook, and this is my boss saying, okay, let's adjust that right now. You don't get to say that. I talk about being stuck in my middle school body self. And then of course I bring it back to, except it's not my principal or assistant principal, Mr. Hall. It's the boss Okay, sorry, I got a little tongue twisted there. So, except it's not my vice principal, it's my boss. Now, of course, if you're doing real stories and you're saying something negative about somebody else, I say Mr. Hall because it's not going to be a big deal if someone knows who it was because I was the one being in trouble. But I'm not going to put my specific boss's name in this email. That would probably not work out too well. And the good news is I've had multiple bosses, so even if they read that, they wouldn't know which one I was referring to. Okay, we'll move on. So then we go back to the setting. So I set up the fact that I'm staring blankly at him. I'm giving context as to why this quote was said in the beginning, and I'm just talking about how we got to this particular point. That's it. Now, really, I probably should have been able to do this in 2 lines as opposed to the kind of 5 that we have here, but hey, you know what? I was in a rush and I needed to get this email done. So then we go to the roadblock. So what has caused this big and negative emotion to surface, right? And so in this particular instance, it's feeling like I'm stuck in a job and I have no real control over my time or how clients treat me, right? And then we move into the solution part saying, hey, maybe you've experienced this type of thing before in your work or in your particular life, this emotion of feeling belittled. And hey, if you can relate to this story, then maybe this thing over here is something you should check out. And that's literally how we bridge the gap between the emotions that they might be feeling of being stuck with a boss who maybe doesn't appreciate them, or maybe they've just lost passion for their work. And then we bring it back to whatever our call to action is. Of course, this being around becoming a consultant. And so hopefully those 2 case studies help show you how you take really simple life experiences and just blow them up a little bit, really highlight whatever those positive or negative emotions are, and then casually tie it back to whatever your offer is at the end of the email. You'll notice that both of these emails, the offer doesn't come until the last couple of lines, which leads us to the final part of our formula, which is going to be driving action. And so with your calls to action, they need to be really clear and you don't say anything new. In fact, including new information here is actually going to hurt your click-through rates and your conversion rates. So when it comes to transitioning from the solution to the call to action, you don't need to present any new information. Don't put your unique selling proposition. Don't list off why this thing is so awesome. Simply tie it back to whatever negative or positive emotion that you talked about in your story and say, hey, this can help you overcome it, or this can help you enjoy that emotion that you're looking for. And that's all we are doing. So jumping back into our example here, you can see with I'll just do our second one since I'm looking at the time and the video got a little long. So you can see here, if you're struggling to determine what you're worth or how much you should be charging, check out this video here. So probably 6 out of 10 times, you could probably copy that exact line. If you're struggling with this, or you're feeling frustrated with that, or you really want to achieve X, Y, Z, then check out this link here. And that's all you have to do for your calls to action. I also like including a secondary call to action in the PS section, although that's not necessarily necessary, but you can if you want to have a PS section and you want to have a little bit of a stronger call to action. But again, it should be all based around the same result or the same roadblock and the same set of emotions that you've chosen to target. So you definitely don't want to present anything new when it comes to your calls to action. So hopefully you're a lot more confident when it comes to how to structure emails and how to actually write them. So now let's quickly go through when is it appropriate to send just a straight you should buy this product now, and how do you actually put all of these different emails together? So here's an example of what we like to use for our rapport building sequence. This is a simple 5 email sequence we send out as soon as someone joins our email list. Each one of these emails uses this particular formula. You can see here that it's just a breakdown of the different types of stories or the different types of emotions or roadblocks or results and how they can fit together and actually start to build on each other. So I'll link up in the cards and the description to a super deep dive email guide that actually goes through this sequence and other sequences like your broadcasts and your onboarding that you most likely want to set up as well to really supercharge your email marketing process. And then when it comes to emails for actually just driving straight action, if your sales page has a countdown timer and it's the last day, it's 6 or 4 hours left, that's the only time I recommend sending an email saying you have 6 hours left, this thing is freaking awesome, and you should totally buy it now before the price doubles in 6 hours or something like that. And you probably don't want to use that email more than once a month, if not more than once every other month or something. Because the more you use those types of emails, the less effective they ultimately become. So for the most part, stick with the stories and you'll be good to go. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. You're ready to start cranking out emails. Well, they do take a long time to write, but they do get easier as time goes on. So hit that like button, subscribe for more marketing guides just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love.